Um, the memorial of St. Leo the Great, Pope and Doctor of the Church. And I'm going to talk about him in a little bit. But just a reminder, a little bit of our schedule that we do have confessions here at St. John's this evening before Mass. So from excuse me, 5:30 to 6:15, and then Mass follows at 6:30, and then the Rosary follows that. And then tomorrow we have Mass at 8 a.m. and that there's confessions prior to Mass, so from 7:30 to 8, or I'm sorry, 7 to 7:45, and then 8 o'clock Mass. And then following that, we have Adoration of the Blessed Sacrament that goes throughout the day, and then I'll live stream the last half hour of adoration that concludes then with benediction. So that's what's coming up in the next couple of days. I know this is a little bit early, but if you watch this update in the next couple of days, you'll probably figure out why. I had to do this a little bit early. I have an appointment this morning. Um, St. Leo the Great, he's one of three popes at this point that has been given the title the Great, along with St. Gregory the Great, Gregory the First. That's he died in 604, and then St. Nicholas the First, who died in 867. There is kind of a movement for St. John Paul II to be given that title of the Great, also for his great theological work, but that hasn't been officially bestowed upon him. These are the three that officially kind of get that title. And the interesting thing about them is they're all the first. So it's Leo the First, Gregory the First, and Nicholas the First. So we'll see how that happens. But Leo the Great, he's one of the saints that, for some reason, I particularly like. I think it's because of, for the most part, it's because of his Christmas homilies. You can get those. You probably find them online. I'll look and see and maybe post a link at some point. But especially once we get to Advent or get closer to the Christmas celebration of Christmas. But and that was part of his greatness, or that is part of what his gift to the church was, is that he was a strong defender of the incarnation of Christ. And so we believe that Jesus is a divine person who has two natures, a full human nature and a full divine nature that are that come together in him. And let's see, how did he say it? Yes, Christ is one person in whom two natures, divine and human, are united without confusion or admixture. And at the time of Leo's reign, there was this heresy called Manichaeism that, or I'm sorry, that was going on too, but the one that this comes across is the Monophysite heresy. So it's really about just Jesus having one nature. Sometimes it's described easily as, you know, God, or Jesus was God in a Jesus suit. Like he just kind of put on flesh and blood, but he really wasn't human. He didn't have a full human nature, and that it's called a heresy for a reason, because it's wrong. And so the Council of Chalcedon, that Leo called, was the one that really um, uh, put that to rest. And he wrote this, what's called the Tome of Saint Leo. He wrote a letter to a bishop who was dealing with this, with a priest who was promoting this heresy, and to try and quell it. And it ended up that there needed to be a council called, where all the bishops got together. I think over 600 of them gathered, mostly from the east, but they gathered together, and they to try and deal with this. And Leo wasn't there himself, but he sent representatives, and they read this tome of Saint Leo, and the whole group erupted in applause, and they said, "This is the faith of the fathers. This is the faith of the apostles. We ourselves believe this. Those whose faith is true believe this. Let anyone who believes otherwise be anathema. Peter has spoken through the mouth of Leo." So that's kind of a famous quote dealing with the tome of Saint Leo. And that was one of the things that Leo the Great he also did, was he kind of enunciated the belief that the bishop of Rome, the Pope, was this successor of Saint Peter, and had authority throughout the universal church. And so he was one who really kind of enunciated it, maybe we would say, or or would write about it and things like that. He was very his writings are very clear and concise, and deal with theological things in a wonderful way. So that's like I said, his homilies at Christmas time are just fantastic to read. The other famous thing for Saint Leo the Great was at this point in time, he died in 461. Um, Rome was, and Italy was kind of under attack from the Huns and the Vandals and anybody else kind of coming out of northern Europe. And so it was a difficult time in the Roman Empire, especially the Western Roman Empire, um, centralized in Rome. And so Attila the Hun was coming. He had already sacked Milan, and now he was coming towards Rome. And there's this, St. Leo went out to meet him and convinced him not to destroy Rome, not to sack Rome, and gave him tribute instead. And Attila did. He spared Rome. Now, one of the Vandals came through later, and Leo tried the same thing, and it didn't work as well, unfortunately. And so there was, Leo had to deal with a lot of political unrest and a lot of unrest in the church. As I said, the clergy. He was trying to bring some unity to the church. There were a lot of uneducated clergy. There were a lot of different um, heresies floating around at that time that would take hold among the people. And so Leo had a great gift for, in a way, being diplomacy and also too of clearly stating the truths of the faith. So he's a great saint to ask for his intercession today, as we have. Sounds like another beautiful day, a nice warm morning. So um, that ends the update for this morning. Hope everyone has a very blessed day. We'll continue to look out and pray for one another, and I pray that God blesses you abundantly this day. Have a great day, everyone.